Well, I guess I was never one. I was into rules and regulations and restrictions growing up. I never really understood. It's just intellectually, yes, but emotionally, there was just no connection there. Um, in my experience, actually, it made things worse, I guess. Sorry, I'm not available right now. Sorry, I am not available right now. No, please, please. So, wow, there was a sort of a rule, I guess. It's not a rule. It's just like right now, I want to talk, and if Zora wants to do something on the iPad, then I say no. I don't. It's not working right now. Huh? Well, in my experience, like because I grew up with rules and regulations, and tons of them, they kind of showered with them. I I wanted to break out, so what I did is like I rebelled against them. I broke the rules. I got in trouble for it. I got punished. I tried to be sneaky so I wouldn't get punished. I I wasn't really I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to do because I wanted to, but because I was supposed to do, and otherwise there would be consequences, or I would break it anyways and then get in trouble. It's like it's kind of how the system works. Also, at large, the mainstream system, fear keeps people from doing stuff they're not supposed to do. Why they're not supposed to do it's not quite understandable at all times, and some rules might be I can understand, other rules I can't. Anyways, we're coming back to present day. My children, today I had one of those days. So first, my 6-year-old hurt somebody at yoga barn today, like a boy who was probably a couple of years older. Mom, like just here on vacation, so has never heard about the concept of the freedom and unschooling and all that. She got all upset about it and kind of came to me, what are you going to do about it? And I was standing there and it was very uncomfortable for me at first. I really don't like confrontation that way. But obviously by the way how I live, I get dragged into it often enough, just also to practice, I suppose. And I was looking at the kids and I was looking at the mom and really what I was feeling is like, I really, no, go back, it's not like I totally don't care. But it's like to the guy, so what happened, and he's like, oh, she pinched me and it totally hurt. And I'm like, okay, and there was no story before that. He's like, no, she just pinched me, I was like, oh, Zora, so is that true? And she's like, no, I was playing with this girl and he was intruding in our place, and I told him to go away, but he didn't. So then I pushed him. And I looked at him like, yeah. And I looked at the mom. I was like, I don't know what to do. I can totally understand that if somebody intrudes in my place and I'm 6 years old, then I probably push him away after I tell him not to do it, So, but I also don't think that it's a great solution. And I also don't think it's a great thing to intrude into other people's spaces, especially if they ask me not to. And I think sometimes it might be nice to include somebody, especially if it's just the exclusion game, to gain power. If you really don't like somebody, I think, well, I have my house here. I don't open it up to anybody. If I don't like their faces, I don't let them in my house, why not? I can understand this, but I don't have a solution for this. It's just, it happened, and I feel like I would like them to have the experience and work it out by themselves. Nobody got really hurt. I mean, the guy threw a fit, and he was obviously trying to push his mom's buttons, which were great, and she was standing for the rules and regulation and enforcement, and she was now there to help him intimidate Zora into some kind of sign of regret or so, which she wasn't feeling because she thought she did totally the right thing, and I wasn't obviously doing anything either other than like I don't really know what happened, but I can understand that it happened, and I acknowledge also that it happened, but I don't have a solution for it. I'm not going to spank Zora for doing it. I'm not going to yell at her. I'm not, what am I supposed to do? I don't feel like doing anything. I actually feel like I don't even really care. So somebody intruded somebody's place. They're 6-year-old, maybe he was 8 years. I felt like he had like a wounded ego because he was bigger and he should have been intimidating, but she wasn't accepting that. He's like, hey, get out of my space. I told you. So, anyways, very interesting, huh? Rules and regulations and enforcement. I feel like it's not working. It hasn't really worked, because nobody is for real. And also I feel like after maybe experiencing being on the other side of physical violence, and also there's other violence, for example, intruding somebody's space is also a violent act, So after experiencing that on both sides as kids, sort of playing around in the play, experiencing that, feeling how it feels to be pinched and or excluded actively, will bring them to a place at some point where they don't have any interest in doing that anymore. Naturally, that we as adults, we live our beautiful lives and stay in our self-empowered place, and live an example, not because we should, but because we are drawn to. We do it anyways, of conscious communication and trying to work things out, taking more responsibility for our emotions and feelings, without calling in polices and external forces and lawyers who then intellectualize what's going on an emotional level and all that stuff. I don't feel like we need that anymore. I don't think I ever needed that, but I experienced it on both ends, but I cannot do that for my children. I don't have the muscle for it, and I really strongly realized today. This woman was so upset. She wanted me to do something, and I was like, I didn't tell her, but I experienced it, and like, I don't care really, like, I know you want me to do something, but I cannot do it, or not do it for real, not from my heart, because I totally see and understand what's going on, and so it happened, So there was a tree that fell down, or there was a little kid touching the stove and burned their hand. Yeah, okay. Do you have to say like, oh well, the stove is hot, you shouldn't be touching it? Well, after you touch it, you know it. You don't do it anymore. So, anyways, experiential learning. Let's have this experience. Why not? Not to say that there isn't any situation where we should intervene or whatever. That's totally okay, but in this case, no. And then later on, just now, Luka came in and he got totally shit-faced last night. He's 16 years old, almost 17, and that was like the first time he threw up. And at first he was like, oh, I did something really bad last night. And it's like, yeah, how bad can it be? What did you do? And he told us. And I experienced like, actually, well, cool, so what did you do? What happened? And oh, you drank on the beach, and how was it? Oh, you slugged like a half a bottle of vodka. Oh yeah, that is pretty stupid. Yeah, that would make just about anyone throw up. And how did it feel? And what did you do? And oh well, your friend had to clean it all up. Oh, this is too bad. So kind of curious. I was just feeling curiosity. I wasn't feeling anger or the even worse, not feeling anger at all, but feeling like I should now reprimand him for his behavior, although I did the same thing when I was 16. I call bullshit on that. I did it. I made the experience, and why shouldn't he? And why wouldn't I be part of this, as a friend? You know, like we don't drink Brie or I, we don't drink really ever, you know. So we don't set the example of that it's cool to drink, you know. But obviously he's got to go out there and try it out. Everyone else is doing it, huh? So why should we say it's bad? You know, that it's not good for the health. He experienced firsthand, and he wasn't feeling good. You know, so what else are you gonna say? You know, like, yeah, cool. Yeah, keep on sharing what you experience. You know, we'll be here listening to you, and we'll be feeling with you and holding you regardless. You know. So I meant to share that with you, and I know that some of you guys are going to be really upset about that. And I would invite you to maybe not necessarily just hate on me, but maybe you can watch yourself a little bit, what is happening below the surface, and really ask questions. You know, like reach out, and if you can, don't make it aggressive, questions or like statements or so, but just hey Bjorn, I was wondering about, or something like that. So if you can keep it that way, I would love to have a conversation with you. If you just hate on me and just kind of yell at me on the comments, I might actually just delete it, you know, like I'm not into that kind of confrontation. But we can definitely have a conversation about it. I'm really curious and a good listener when it's peaceful, you know, when it's on a conscious level. All right. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you later. Huh? See what happens next, my God.